Welcome back. We've got some more great questions this week. Thank you to everyone that sent them in. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below or kick on over to Irish Strength Training on Instagram and you can DM me there and I will get to your questions as soon as I can. So the first question I get in was, how do I avoid injuries? And the answer is with great difficulty. When it comes to strongman, unfortunately, because you're lifting those huge weights and awkward implements all of the time, you're going to get injuries. It's going to happen sooner or later. The key is to minimize those injuries as much as possible. So the number one way to avoid injury is correct form and technique. So if I have a new event or new exercise that I haven't done before, I will do my research. I will go about trying to find as many demonstrations and tips on that exercise as I can, and then I will progress slowly through the exercise. I won't look at my other exercise and go, oh well, I'm able to do 200 kg on that, I should be able to do this. I don't do that. I will start at a lightweight and I will slowly build up till I get an idea for where my limit actually is. The next thing I always do is warming up. It is one of the first things that gets taken out of our routines when we're stuck for time or we're just a little bit tired. We go, I'll warm up during the exercise. I won't bother warming up the joints or the muscles. I'll forget about that. I'll just warm up in the exercise. And this is one of the worst things you can do. So even if you have to minimize that warm up and you don't have as much time as you normally would, still go through it and still warm up those muscles and warm up those joints. Make sure to bring them through the range of movement that you're going to be doing during the exercise so your body is prepared for that movement. So the next one I always do is I progress slowly. Now sometimes this means that I will do a few too many reps preparing for my bigger weights. However, I prefer to do that than to do too few and the body's just not ready to lift those big weights. So if you're going to do 250 kg on an exercise, you'll start warming up whatever the exercise is. It doesn't really matter. The weight doesn't really matter. But if you're doing a warm-up and you go 60, you go to 100, and then you go, oh, I'll do bigger jumps because I want to get to that big weight. So you go from 100 to 180 and then 180 to 250. Your body hasn't had time to get used to doing that move. Even if you've done it before 100 times, your body needs time on the day that you're training to get used to that weight again and get used to what you're asking it to do. So a slow build up to your working weight is the best way to go. Now I feel like I'm always talking about nutrition, but your body repairs itself using protein. And if you don't take in enough protein, your body hasn't been able to build that muscle back up or repair that muscle correctly. So if you go and start training it again, it's already got a weakness in it because it hasn't been built back up. And if you continuously train muscles that have been weakened, that's when you increase the risk of getting an injury. The next thing is your carbs and your fats. They're your fuel sources. So of course, if the body doesn't have fuel to burn, your form is going to suffer because you're going to be exhausted. You're not going to be able to put the same effort into doing the exercise. And that's again when you'll start seeing injuries. Another thing is I always take the rest days and take the recovery days. A lot of people, myself included, when I started training, think, oh, if I take a rest day, if I take a recovery day, I'm going to lose the gains that I made in my training sessions. And you think the more I train, the better. This isn't always true. Your body needs time to recover. It's the same thing as with the nutrition. If you don't give the body time to repair itself, it's going to be weaker. And the last thing, and one of the most important things if you're going to be doing strongman, get a good physio. Because you're going to need one. So to recap, I always do my research on the moves that I'm going to be doing so I have correct form and correct technique, and I do that correct form and technique from the lowest weight all the way up to the heaviest. Next one up is your warm-up. Don't cut it out. I know it's tempting to cut it out, but warm up every time. Next one, progress slowly. Don't do huge jumps. It puts too much pressure on the body and there's a big chance that you will injure yourself. Next up is nutrition. Make sure your body has enough fuel to repair itself and do the work that you're asking for. And lastly, get a physio's phone number. So the next question I got in was, who's my inspiration? It's a bit of a love it or hate it character, which is Eddie Hall. So a lot of you will know that Eddie is a previous world's strongest man and now he's edged into the more entertainment side of the sport. But from early on in his career, he had a huge amount of people telling him, you're not going to achieve that, you can't break that record, you're not going to be able to compete at that level. Basically saying, you can't. All negativity. And that's something that I think anybody in this sport or anybody doing strength sports will have come across. people being negative, people saying you can't do that, you're not going to be able to achieve that. And Eddie's response, and it's a great response, was basically to tell those people where to go. And that's something that I really respect. I think it's something that a lot of us need to do in our lives. If somebody is telling you you can't do something, that's negativity. It's not constructive, and it's not going to help you in any part of your life. So it's one of those things that you need to cut out. Eddie Hall ended up proving all of those doubters wrong, from breaking multiple records that people told him was ridiculous to even attempt, and then finally going on and winning World's Strongest Man. Now, it's since then that some people have pushed away from Eddie Hall a little bit because he has gone into the more show business side of the sport. I am quite disappointed because I think he had so much more to offer, but at the same time, the career of a strongman is a very, very short period of time. So they have to make hay while the sun shines. They have to make their money that's going to last them for a long, long time. So he's earned the right to do whatever he wants. If he wants to go out there and have a boxing match with Thor to make money, then I'm not going to begrudge him for that. He has earned it. He has given an awful lot to the sport, and he has done a huge amount for making the strongman sport a lot more popular and a lot more widely known throughout the world. So the last question I get in was, what's the one supplement that I would recommend people to take? This is going to be such a boring answer. I'm really sorry, but it's not going to be the likes of pre-workout or creatine, you know, make you lift twice as much. It's actually glucosamine and chondroitin. I know you're all looking at the screen like, what the hell is glucosamine and chondroitin? It's a joint support supplement. And basically anybody that's doing any impact sport, even running or any heavy lifting, your joints are one thing that's going to take such a hammer. So they need all the help they can get. Taking this supplement, there's no negative effects. It's really, really good for you. And trust me, your joints will really appreciate it later in life. It's not an exciting answer. I know, I'm sorry, but it is an important one. So again, thanks for all the questions. Please like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.